Thank you for coming today. Today we are going to talk about super apps, and let's jump into the topic straight. My first question is that, like, what makes super app in your sense? So what is the differentiation from standard good banking app and super app in your perspective? Balázs, do you start?
Okay, I will. Hello, everyone. It's an interesting question because I cannot consider this one without seeing the time. Because 15 years ago, I think a super app, a financial super app, meant totally different thing. 15 years ago, when a bank wanted to build a new digital banking solution, a new financial app, I think they tried to incorporate as much daily banking functionality that it was possible to provide end-to-end user experience. And now I think it's a little bit changed because it's natural to have these kind of user experience. So the daily banking, to handle the cards, the payments, are already natural for all of them. So now it's about providing beyond banking functionalities on top of that. This is, I think, one very important aspect. This is what I see is Banca Transilvania is doing, Diana is doing at Banca Transilvania with the BT Go itself to provide invoicing, incorporates fintechs, so that is also important. And the other is to provide as much digital user experience as possible. So end-to-end digital processes, self-service processes, I think it's really important altogether. This I see currently the banks are focusing to provide more and more beyond banking functionalities and end-to-end processes.
What do you think what the reason of this change? So why it has changed in the recent years?
I think the world has changed a lot. I mean, now everybody with the mobile phones, with the mobile banking, expects a totally different user experience. We are used to it that I can pay immediately for something. I can arrange everything using my phone. So it's not just about that I can pay my bills. It's not just about I can activate my cards. It's also that I would like to buy an insurance. And if I'm a company, for example, I'm handling my invoices. I would like to handle my invoices end-to-end using my mobile application and also integrate with bookkeeping software. So it's all about the ecosystem. We are already used to it. The world is fast. So it's really the need of the customer to serve as much as we can by the banks.
Yeah, if I may jump in order to complete the answer Balázs provided to us, I will extend a little bit the perspective. If we're discussing about the super apps in Europe, which are quite limited in terms of beyond banking, and if you compare with some super apps you have in Asia mainly, they're covering lots of areas beyond banking, from transportation, from medical appointments, apart from the transactional part. But sticking to the question itself, I think it's a matter of mobile-first economy, the evolution of smartphone and the interaction of current-day users with their mobile applications. At the same time, also the diversity of applications. And as far as I know, for the Romanian market, we can speak about an average of 9 apps used per day by the current consumers. Out of which one is the banking app, but you have also other several applications that a consumer in Romania uses day to day.
Diana?
First of all, we've skipped the presentation, so I will start by introducing myself. So I'm Diana Dumitreascu, happy to be here, and thank you all. Product manager at Banca Transilvania for BT Go, our digital banking platform for companies. To be precise, 23 years of experience in banking and fintech, sales, product process, and delivery. Things that I do believe that are the key ingredients in developing an all-in-all app. When I received the invitation and also the discussion topic, super apps, I first tried to look back at my digital journey, and I believe most of you were in that place. 9, 10 years ago, banks and fintechs were addressing specific needs of the customer with specific apps. We are having online onboarding app, lending app, an internet banking for payments and other day-to-day operations. Even today, I would say, especially in the traditional banks, the customer, in order to acquire products or services, needs to open different apps and also to go to the branch. At Banca Transilvania, I would say 2 years ago, that click happened. And the mindset and the culture was not to add more and more functionalities for the user, but to think of a long-term strategy on the product side, envisioning an ecosystem like a single entry point for the customer in order to acquire his products or services. And this is how BT-Go was birthed, let's say so. Yeah, we have now 1 year and a half since the launch of the MVP. We are not yet done, but we see more than 300K customers in the app, and we can, see that and learn that the most valued functionalities are not the flashiest one. It is not about the number of the functionalities you have in your platform, but the needs of the customers you are addressing and the noise you are overcoming. And we also learn that in order to aim for that super app, you need indeed to have the correct mindset, to have the correct culture, and to equip yourself with all that is needed. Why I'm saying this? Because working previously in also other banks and fintechs, I saw projects started with waterfall, let's say so, at the beginning, not having a project manager, a business analyst. It was like one role having it all. It's good, and I'm saying this as a model and the suggestions that we set up ourselves in a squad model, and we equipped with all the important roles, like customer experience, having internal and external researches, ideation, A/B testing, because in the end, the customer, it's all that it matters. And on the flow, having business analysts, technical leads, UX designer, and also business experts. So in my view, talking about the super apps and also on the road with my colleagues, asking them, we realize that a super app is defined by the eyes of the viewer, of the user, because something that for me might be a super app, for Balázs might be different, because our needs indeed are different. And in the end, the one that will be chosen by the customers is the one that addresses best their needs, and they feel, flawless, secure, and with no need to open 10 apps in order to satisfy their needs.
And do you think that, is there any difference between super apps for retail context and business banking context, or more or less the same approach you need?
I would say it's a little bit different between traditional banks like Banca Transilvania and neobanks, where things happen with a different speed, in my view. And I will also let Vio telling us about this case.
Yeah, First of all, we don't consider to have a super app at this stage at Asal Bank. Okay, we're basically making the foundation for a new super app. But for those that are not aware about our story, as a brief introduction, we have launched our app 1 year ago. So basically, it was an MVP. And we're in our second year of our business after 1 year of preparation before the launch. And we started adding new functionalities beyond payments. But for the moment, I don't believe to have at Salbank a super app. And to be honest, coming here to Oradea from Cluj, I have tested this opinion with ChatGPT, and I have asked ChatGPT, do you think Salbank is a super app? And the question was, Salbank is a neobank with quite impact in the Romanian market, but is not a super bank yet. No pressure, ChatGPT, I said to myself. And when I was mentioning that we're building the foundation, the story is the fact that when we have designed the bank itself, the first neobank built in Romania, we have designed it for the long run. It's worth mentioning that from the very beginning, it is cloud native. In order to support multiple integrations, and in order to give you a number about the dimension of those integrations, just before launch, we did manage to have around 30 providers integrated just in order to support the business go live. Of course, after the business go live, we have managed to integrate additional services beyond the multi-currency card and the current account. And today, starting with 2025, we have started offering lending. We have starting the investments. We have developed multiple functionalities for the security of our customers, such as Help Mama, the feature that allows you to protect the transactions made by your parents. Call Monitor in order to protect at the same in the same time also the transactions you're performing if you're under a tentative of fraud by a fraudster. So basically, in conclusion, I don't think that we have built so far a super app, although we have built the foundation for a future super app in Romania.
Andras, coming back to your question, because I think it's very important when talking about retail, private individual in comparison with companies. Indeed, even though we can speak about personas on each type of segment, when dealing with companies, indeed, if we have upper segments like large corporate customers, or even some SMEs, we have multiple shareholders and we need to address more complex needs. It is not like the micro companies that are similar to the retail, the private individuals one, but companies that do need specific and complex functionalities. And for sure, it is not that easier to address them. Being part of a banking system regulated, where there is compliance and norms to what you need to adhere, let's say so.
So I think with this we arrive to the feature or function prioritization problem that probably if you have multiple personas, it's harder to prioritize things, but I'm curious that how you do prioritization, how you approach. Balázs, in the earlier conversations, you also highlighted that not the best approach to put everything into the solution, but we have to prioritize and measure what is really important. I'm curious that what you think about this in detail.
Yeah, definitely it's important, but why it's important, that's the question, because we all have limited resources and throughputs. So if we would have and we will able to deliver, you know, everything, that this prioritization wouldn't be so difficult. And I see the difference in this case, the traditional banks, between the traditional banks and the neobanks here, because the foundations are different. And I think it's pretty important. And Vera, you also mentioned that, okay, you are still not there that Salt can be considered as a super app. So maybe additional prioritization is still required, but you created the foundation, and I think it's important because the difficulty between the two cases, I mean, between Salt and Banca Transilvania is different, because when you can create the foundations, when you can create the framework which enables you to deliver functionalities much quicker than this prioritization, for sure it's still important, but the impact is less. But in case of a traditional bank like Banca Transilvania, I see that it's really tricky to handle all these kind of legacy systems, all these kind of vendors, all these kind of cultures, what Diana also mentioned, and prioritization. So we also always talking about, for example, let's create a fintech ecosystem, let's involve more and more fintechs. And that is possible because they are saying to each of the banks that, oh, it's just 3 weeks or 2 weeks, and they are really capable to do this one. That could help the prioritization, but in the reality, if you don't have the culture for that one, if the teams are not talking the same languages, this prioritization or this delivery of the fintechs are much more difficult. So about the prioritization, I think you need to have the technology. I think it's really important to have the right technology not to have impacts on the core banking, on the legacy systems as much. That helps the prioritization, and the other is the culture. And we cannot underestimate the culture, I truly believe. And this culture also helps to do the fights, because this prioritization is always fights between the retail, fights between the SMEs, about the stakeholders and whatever. So, and these are the two things the two most important aspects that I think can help.
Yeah, if I may, I can highlight this cultural aspect, and I feel the need to share with you something that we had the chance to develop, which is related to the culture, is the customer obsession fintechs, neobanks have. And at Saltbank, we had the chance at the moment of the launch, building a bank from scratch and creating a new database. We have used this opportunity in order to create also a community of customers. We have created a community of founders. We have initially launched the bank as a community of founders. So we have thought that around 50,000 customers that will join Saltbank will be the founders of the bank and will receive some tangible benefits such as a premium card, but also intangible benefits such as potential shares if the bank will have success into the market and will go public. And we have used this community of founders. By the way, we have increased after 2 days after the launch this community of founders from 50,000 to 100,000, because in the second day we had around 14,000 customers enrolled to the banking app. And what we have considered that we will have 50,000 customers in 3 months, we had 100,000 customers in 10 days. And we have used this opportunity in order to create a community of founders, to engage with them, and to use their experience, their feedback, their suggestion, using a fintech platform which is called IdeaMorph, where around 4,000 to 5,000 customers, members of this community, are providing us ideas, are testing in advance products, are offering us reviews for the ads we tend to launch into the market, and we have somehow disengagement from their side, and we somehow filter our ideas. And instead of having product managers or product owners somewhere in our secret labs thinking what the customer is really thinking, we prefer the direct approach in engaging the customer and receiving information from real persons that are using financial products day to day.
And this founder community helps you to decide which features to bring live. So it's like a direct feedback for you
Yes.
to how to prioritize.
Yes, we use this feedback in order to set the prioritization. We use this feedback even in order to, when we have some debates about the naming of the functionalities, because this is also an important fact. So it helps us a lot receiving this information from the community of founders we are engaging with.
I want to go back a little to the culture and the mindset, because in my view, if we would have to live with something from this panel, I would choose this one. Especially when we are talking about a bank, a large bank, or the number one bank in the market, it's very important that the culture and the mindset is aligned across all segments. Because in the end, if we refer to BTGO, that is a digital banking platform for companies. In the end, the shareholder of this company is a private individual using our services for retail. So if us at the company's levels wouldn't be in line with our companies for private individual, and if we wouldn't have a similar strategy and a vision of how our, I don't know, strategic product plan will look like in 3-5 years, will mess in the end the customer and will confuse him. So yes, in my view, these two pillars are key for creating in the end a super app.
Yeah, I would like to add here something, because you asked previously that if we need different prioritization, different strategy for the retail and for the SMEs, and yes, definitely they should be different, but they should have a common strategy as well. And maybe sometimes it's different, but maybe one app together, or at least enable via the digital identity to use the same application easily. Why I'm saying, because it's a good example, if you would, as a company, you would like to offer cards, company cards for your colleagues, for example. They will not part of the company account, but they would like to use by their retail application in many cases. And there is always an integration between these two. It's also an ecosystem. And this is the seamless experience we need to provide. So we cannot really handle these ones together. I would totally agree.
Yeah, just wanted to complete your opinion that we will try to do this in order to have one app for two types of segments, and we have launched it 1 month ago in a friends and family pilot where, okay, we're having the private individual that can switch and do the onboarding also for if he's a freelancer or he is the sole owner of a company. Maybe next year I will tell you the conclusions about this. But yes, our approach will be to have in one app.
But you have the one app, right?
Yes. One app.
Yeah.
Yes, like culture is a really important factor also into to increasing or design maturity within the organization. And with this, I would switch to the UX aspect in that sense that you think that having the right UX user experience is the best way to increase engagement in your super app or application what might be a super app. And also, like, engagement is the best way to increase loyalty, or there are other better approaches?
I would say that UX can increase loyalty, but he can also broke it. So it's something key to have in your app. And this is why, for example, after we are having the ideation, where we have at the table also our UX colleagues, we go to test in the market at least 2 journeys with the user. And also in case during the development some functionalities cannot be addressed or might be changed, we go back in the end to the user, because we are building it for him. and not, let's say so, for our own opinions, because we are not doing a cheap business, let's say so, and we do not afford to build based on assumptions. UX, in my view, should be that seamless and intuitive that the user don't even feel it, my opinion.
Yeah, I would add to this one. I don't have experience in UX. I'm always saying that.
Andras has, and
I know.
he is
So
testing
I know
us
that you
now.
has, and so I can only say something from as a user's perspective, right? So, and for me, what is important? Yeah, the seamless is I don't know, a plus for me. But at least I would like to do as much as possible fully online. I don't want to go into the branch. That's which is important. And the other, which I wouldn't underestimate as a client, and this can harm the trust of the client, I can say, if the application is not stable, not working, or slow. So I think the stability and the speed and the performance are also extraordinarily important. And this where again the technology, the integration, and the whole concept which enables this one.
It's true. This we learn it on ourselves with those pictures in BTGo that were loading and taking too much time.
Yeah, the banks are calling if it's not working as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I will subscribe to the same idea that UX is essential, especially when the bank is the app and the app is the bank. And as I have mentioned earlier, we're having the opportunity to test and to do beta testing, and we are doing on a monthly approach with our customers when we see some deviance in the usability of our applications, as I have mentioned, with the community of founders, which is pretty active and is very valuable for us.
Yes, we are about the end of our conversation. So as a last question, I would ask you to quickly share your view about how do you see the future of super apps, whether we will have something more like in Asia, so we are step by step going towards the direction, or we will diverge and we will see a different super app system in Europe.
In my view, like Asia, for sure will not be, as they are not having so legacy systems, as the mobile adoption is even higher back there. What we can do, and this is also our view in terms of a super app in order to mitigate the regulation, the compliance, and the norms, is to build modular, something that we want to do for BTGo, like, okay, have a lot of functionalities addressing different needs, but for different personas. For example, if we plug in a module like POS, like we've recently done it, to make it part of a package that can be accessed by a customer that is in need of that functionality. And also adding BTAM, like investment funds, buy and sell, and specific other functionalities for niche customer. So I would say we could see it, but in a modular way build it.
Okay, thank you.
In my opinion, I would say that there is room for consolidation and diversification at the same time. But Romania in particular and Europe in general for sure have some certain barriers, and in terms of antitrust, in terms of GDPR, and at the same time it's a very fragmented market. We're having multiple currencies, we're having linguistic barriers, so we're not having the context similar with what Asia had when it developed the super app context. But as I have mentioned, there is room for consolidation and for diversification at the super app banking level.
Thank you. Balázs?
I absolutely agree with the others that I don't think we will reach the Asian type applications here, especially these. But I can imagine that country-specific, region-specific players can grow up here. This is the one currently one application can be considered in financial perspective. I think it's closing the super app status. Is the Revolut itself because it's cross-border, it's offering a lot of beyond banking functionalities. But I think Revolut-like players, the neobanks, can close this gap, and these kind of players can reach this super app status as well, or close this super app status.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing your
Thank you.
insights, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you.